Yay, team. All right. We're here at Frickers for the Coaches Show on this Monday night, and this will be our final show for 2024. And it's great to be here. And, they have Monday Night Football tonight with wings, and they have the nightly specials. And, of course, kids eat free here. You can ask your server for details, as we are going to have three coaches on tonight's program. Blaise Baney, who is the head coach at Clyde Girls, will be with us here in just a second. Bo Everts from Gibsonburg Girls, and then Adam Nipper of the Lakota Boys. Those are all on the schedule tonight for our hour-long show. Of course, Nick Roth has the camera in front of us, and oh, wow, we're getting a lot of sound effects, aren't we? Yeah, that's not a good backdrop there. Anyway, I heard it even from here. Okay, so we're working out a couple of kinks, but we're going to get it straightened out for you. And, of course, the camera right in front of us. So, hi, wave to the camera. Okay, Clyde's head coach Blaise Baney is joining us. And, well, let's talk a little bit about your team. And, of course, I saw him last year against Huron, and we covered that. I covered that game. And, last year was 8-15 season.
Yep.
1-9 in conference. This year, a little bit slow start in conference, but a lot of road games early on. So how the girls adjusted to everything, because now they're going to get a lot more home games.
We're adjusting day by day. We're a unique team. We're a team that's young in many aspects. We have a lot of kids who are learning the speed of varsity currently. We have a couple older kids as well. But to be honest with you, with the way everything's going, I'm enjoying these girls. They're working their tails off. I know we've had a tough stretch this last 3 or 4 against some pretty darn good teams. I'm not using that as an excuse, but I'll tell you what, our girls are continuing to fight. They're wanting to learn more, and they're bringing it day in and day out. And eventually we'll turn the corner. We just don't know when, but we're going to continue to fight like crazy.
And you were looking at your team last year, and of course Katie Sheets is back, and she meant everything to your team in terms of scoring last year. What have you seen from her this year is that leadership role, which continues to develop, and of course now as a senior, she's the focal point for your team.
Right, and she hasn't even played yet. She's been injured from last year, and she's just recovering. Today was actually her first practice.
Wow.
Coming back, so we're down. We have 2 seniors, and our other starter, who's a junior, Reese Daniels, she's out for most of the year too. So we're just picking up the pieces as we go. It's okay though. A lot of kids are getting opportunities to grow, and they're asking questions, like I said before. But Katie's done a great job of buying into the kids, understanding that when she does come back, there has to be a connectedness to each other, because we have a lot of sophomores and freshmen who are stepping up to the plate, and when she comes back, we'll be even that much better with her on the floor, because she does do a lot of good things. She dribbles the ball. I know she can score. She can shoot the ball. She is a great shooter, but I tell you what she can really do is handle the ball versus pressure. And she really, when we're in a pickle, she does a really good job of getting the ball and getting us in good positions to be on offense.
Mm-hmm. And, with Abby Rogish and Kennedy Long, how are they complimenting her when you hope to get Katie back on the court?
Yeah, and those seniors are doing a great job with leadership. They're buying in. They've bought in. They're helping these young kids out. They're showing them how to work hard. They've done a great job, our 2 seniors. I've actually been very, very pleased with them, especially since they don't have a ton of varsity experience, but they have a lot of life experience. And they've brought that to the ladies. So they've done a great job in practices, helping the girls out, establishing relationships. And, again, they're thrown to the fire right now. They're learning the speed of the game. But I tell you what, there's not a lack of effort. It's just a learning as we go through the process.
What's involved with life experience?
Life experiences. So being around other kids, telling them how to deal when you're having adversity. What do you do when there's adversity hitting you? How is it to be at practice? I've had a couple kids who've never practiced on the varsity floor till this year, and explain to them, this is how fast it is. This is the big leagues when it comes to things. You can't do the same things you did on a freshman or JV floor, even a middle school floor, because we have a lot of freshmen playing up. So they're explaining to them, hey, it's okay to make mistakes. Don't dwell on making mistakes. Just learn and continue to get better at the speed. And those seniors have done a great job of just picking them up, keeping them involved, and making sure it's okay. As long as you're giving effort, it'll be okay.
Talking about Blaze Bainey, he is the head coach of the Clyde girls, and they have, as you mentioned, 4 straight at home coming up, and a stretch of 5 of 6. Will have their game on December 30th against Willard on 92-1 The Wolf. But, you know, in looking at it, you know, you had that opportunity for your younger players, and, you know, when you look at the long-term scope of what you want to do in building up the program, because you're in your second year, if I remember right.
Yes.
What is it that you want to see from those young players? Obviously, the practices and everything, but how does that transform into the game? And is it about practicing the way you play in the games?
Yeah, we're building habits.
Yeah.
We're building habits day in and day out. We are competing. We got to compete every day. Right now, I know our losses are big losses. We've had a couple of them. When we lost well. When we won, we've won well. It's just we're trying to learn. We talk about being gritty, having that toughness, and finding, you know, when things go well, we look great. When things go south, right now we look very bad sometimes too. But we're still continuing to fight, and we're trying to build habits with these kids. We've got some sophomores who are stepping up big time too. I mean, we've got a couple kids who are, no offense, they're getting face guarded as sophomores because when Katie comes back,
Who's that?
Tatum Jeffrey is being face guarded. I mean, she scored 30 points in two or three of our 6 games. So when Katie comes back, I mean, that's the thing we're trying to tell like our kids, like,
Get some pressure off.
yeah, it's like, all right, like if you want to do that, pick your poison then. And we have a couple kids who are capable of scoring a ton of points, playing good defense, and we're establishing roles too. It's not a, hey, we're all scorers. No, we're not. Not everyone's a scorer. We need kids who are going to bring energy and play defense, and that's where our sophomores and freshmen are learning. Like, I might not be a complete player, but I'm going to do my role, and I'm going to fulfill my role. It's going to do what's best for the team.
I have a question of the night. So I'm going to ask this for all the coaches tonight. I figure this will elicit a response, and it's a little bit of a serious question, but it gets to know you. What is the best gift for the holidays that you've ever received or given?
The best gift I've ever received or given? The best gift I've ever given is having a child to my wife. We found that out.
Very good.
That was a major gift.
Yes.
And the best gift I received besides
you can't gift wrap that.
No, you can't. Quite honestly, I'm a pretty simple man. I like coffee mugs. I like coffee mugs and scratch-off tickets because I don't need a lot of materialistic things. I need to be competitive. I like sports, and I like drinking coffee. So,
wow.
So as a teacher, I drink coffee. I can drink coffee any hour of the day.
There's some professions that just elicit that. Like radio's known for that.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah, radio's known for that. Or NORAD, missile watch.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no.
You don't want to fall asleep at the switch there.
No, absolutely not. No, thank you. No, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
All right, we're just being a little silly right now, but that's what we do here. We're at Friggers for the Coaches Show on this Monday night, and of course Monday Night Football here. Wings specials tonight on Monday and Tuesday. Certainly ask your server for details. Let's look at we looked a little bit about your team and everything, but you've said. When you've lost well. That's the first time I've ever heard a lopsided loss being referred as well. But at least the good news is well is a good word to use.
When we lost, we did it well. We definitely took the cake on some of them losses.
But you played 2 tough teams. You played Bellevue and Norwalk. And size up those 2 teams and what you saw as a positive in playing those 2 tough opponents.
I mean, pick your poison. Both teams do what they do well. They play really good defense. One team, I think Bellevue can speed you up. They do a great job of that. But Norwalk can do the same thing. Those teams are I would say, they're older teams, and they play like they're older teams, and they play really good defense. You're not going to have anything easy against either one of them teams. So in my opinion, if I say Bellevue, well, guess what? Norwalk's right there too. If I say Norwalk, Bellevue's there as well. But from our positives from that, Bellevue, I thought we did a good job against some pressure. We handled the zone press pretty well. I mean, we just couldn't hit any shots, and you know why? It's because they sped us up. Norwalk, I thought, in the first half, we did a couple of different things against Abby Koenig. She's a great on-ball defender. We tried different actions to kind of get our point guard some breathing room, and quite honestly, I thought we did some good things in the first half. We just couldn't score, and we didn't shoot the ball enough in the third quarter. And when you're going against a good team, they're making shots, and we're not shooting shots. Well, that's not a good formula to win any basketball games.
Ball handling. Who are your ball handlers, and what is the key to success in handling pressure?
Right. Our ball handlers, I got a bevy of them. I got Kelsey Ray is a sophomore. Tatum Jeffrey can ball handle. Araya Farrar is a freshman who's ball handling. I bring Kensley Goon as a sophomore ball handling. When Katie Sheets comes back, she'll be our senior ball handler. So we got a bevy of them. What we look for, we work on it every day, is creating space, slowing down, changing speeds, attacking the hip, because you're not going to be more athletic than every kid you play. You're just not. And some kids are so good at what they do. So we talk about dribbling hard and changing speeds, changing direction, and attacking the hip. And that's the biggest thing, because as sophomores, this sophomore and freshman group, they've done really well at the middle school level. Mm-hmm. Come to the varsity level, you're not playing one group anymore.
Yeah.
You're playing 4 different groups, and that's been an adjustment. Mm-hmm. Just the pressure. They've never felt that kind of pressure. So slowing down, but then again, it's kind of an oxymoron. We're changing speeds and attacking different ways, but just be confident and understand, like, we're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I would love to be 6-0. Everyone would, but you got to understand your team going in, understand, like, we're going to take some lumps. But the big picture, these girls are going to continue to grow if they keep doing what they're doing. And down the road, they're going to be very successful. And I think they already are successful, in my opinion, because they're working hard. They're doing things when things aren't going well for us. And quite honestly, again, if they continue down this path, I see big things for these girls. I really do. And again, they work too hard for it to not happen.
So when a young player makes a mistake, and I guess the thing that, this is kind of synonymous with life, is you can make mistakes but don't keep repeating the mistake.
Yes.
So are you seeing that from these girls?
Quite honestly, not really. I mean, we're an attacking team where I'm trying to get the girls to attack the rim. I'm still learning these girls, to be honest with you. I thought I had some ideas, and sometimes as coaches, your best coaching is when you don't overcoach. Maybe you do a little bit less. But when making mistakes, they're doing things that I'm asking them to do. They're trying to, I'll pull them in and say, hey, try this out. And they're at least trying it. Is it working every time? Absolutely not. One thing that, again, probably the one thing that we do too much is we get sped up, and right now we are too aggressive. We don't look at the floor. We look to dribble too much. We dribble.
Uh-huh.
And if you want to break a press, or if you want to break against a team, a good defense, you got to move the ball. And I'm not saying move the ball by dribble. I'm saying pass. So one thing that I would say that we do consistently is we over dribble.
the teams that I like that play against the press, the ball doesn't even touch the floor.
Oh man, those are great to watch. I know. We did a great job against Margaretta. They threw a 1-2-2 press, and we repped it in practice. You could not dribble, but again, then there's Bellevue, who does many different types of presses, and then Norwalk has got girls who are just in you, and they can play a man-to-man press. And those are the things that we're learning. We're learning, okay, man-to-man press and the zone press are just, quite honestly, they're different presses, but they still pressure the ball, and our girls are just, we're adjusting to things. It's, again, a lot of these kids, this is their first time on a varsity floor.
Blaze Bainey joining us, the head girls coach at Clyde. And final few questions for him here at Frickers for the Coaches Show tonight, our final one for 2024 calendar year. And, when you look at it from this perspective, you led into that with Margaretta only losing by 6 points. And this is a good team that you played there. Size up that matchup and just what you learned from the girls, because you came into the game at 2-0 and play them competitively on their home floor.
Ball pressure. Ball pressure in girls basketball, in my opinion, is one of the most paramount things you can do. We felt like we could pressure their guards. I felt like if we can just continue to fight and pressure the basketball, we might give up a couple layups, but we just wanted to pressure their guards so they could not dump it down low to Cassie Lane, because she is a beast. And we also did a little bit of zoning, some 1-3-1 zones, just something to mix it up. But we definitely put a ton of ball pressure on them. And that in my opinion, was the bread and butter of that game.
The old adage is that teams that press don't like to be pressed themselves. Do you agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because it just, you want to speed up another team, but then when you get sped up, it bothers you too. Everyone knows, like, if you want to, it's just, you feel like if you can speed a team up, good things are going to happen. Well, some coaches, they never really work on breaking it sometimes. That's just the way I feel about it. But I know when I was on the boys' side for many years ago, I loved pressing, but I hated being pressed. It just makes the kids think too much. It makes them think. And then when you're dribbling and thinking, no offense to kids, they're kids, so they're going to make mistakes. So in my opinion, you're making teams think, and it slows them down, especially teams that like to go up and down, and you make them slow it down and makes them think. So that's my opinion on that. That's why coaches don't like it, because it forces their kids to think too much.
And how much pressure should someone face before they get very comfortable with it?
That's a good question. I think it varies by team.
Yeah.
It does vary by team and what you're doing. In my opinion, I know we got our butts whooped, in a couple games, but we're using that as fuel and motivation. As like, if we went through this already, now we're going to play some teams that are good. Our conference is not a, hey, one good team. Our conference is pretty tough. I mean, we got a lot of good teams there, and anyone can win in any night. So I'm glad we went through it. I know it sucks, at the moment, but like, we're taking it the right way. We're using it as motivation. Our kids are saying, hey, it happened. We're not going to let those 3 games ruin the next 17 for us. We're going to use that as, hey, we can do this. We can. Our response is, every time we're in a bad situation, how do you respond?
Lastly, we're going to wrap up with defense. So your team, you talked about defense and being a priority, and it is for every coach. But how has the defense come along for your team since the beginning of the year to where they are now?
It's getting there. I wouldn't say it's going great. It's getting there. We are mixing up some zones. I think our press, I like our zone press 2-2-1. I think that's been a nice little addition this year compared to last year. Last year we run a jump quite often, but this year I think our personnel better suits a 2-2-1. I like our 1-3-1 too, because we have a 5'11" girl who can move at the top and less thinking and just playing. And again, we're young, so if we were good right away on defense, I would have been really, really surprised.
Yeah.
But again, we're progressing. Is it as fast as I want it to be? Absolutely not. But we're taking steps. And we're keeping it positive. I know it sucks to lose. No one likes to lose. But our girls are seeing big picture. We're going to get there. We will get there. We just don't know when.
And a little bit different for you this year in terms of your approach than last year?
Yeah, my approach is a little bit different. And again, last year was my first year, and I had to change the way I coach. Boys and girls, no, it's not a knock on anyone else. It's just my approach is a little bit different. And understanding, like, I had 8 seniors last year. Now I have 2 currently playing, so and then no juniors. So we have 2 upperclassmen right now in the program who are playing. So it's got to be a different approach.
Yeah.
Because if we need to see, we have a chance to be really good if we actually coach the girls correctly, keep it positive, and understand, we're going to take our lumps, but keep it positive, because this is a basketball game.
Yep.
This is a basketball game.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't paying the bills, and it's taking up it takes a lot of time, but I enjoy doing this. But it's a basketball game. These girls are going to do great things in their lives beyond basketball. So it's a little bit different, but again, it's what happens when you're in your second year. I'm learning how to be a better coach. Every year, I'm just always trying to learn to be a better coach.
All right, Blaise Baney, we do appreciate it. Wish you the best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Blaise Baney with the Clyde girls. And, of course, here at Frickers for the Coaches Show. We invite you to come on down. Wing night and Monday Night Football here from Frickers. And, of course, Ohio State's big playoff game on Saturday. This is the place to go for the Ohio State-Tennessee playoff game, which is coming up just days away from the Horseshoe. Coming up next, Bo Everts from Gibsonburg as we continue our conversation of girls basketball here from Frickers on the Coaches Show. I'm Tim Boulware here on Eagle 99. Yeah, we're back here from Frickers in Fremont, located between Highway 20 and the Turnpike. And it's been a rainy day, so you want to come in here and enjoy the great food that they have here at Frickers, which will certainly lift all the emotions up from a dreary day we had. I guess, we could have had snow, because then you give that chance for a white Christmas. I heard there's going to be a snow possibility on Friday, so that will be interesting. Bo Everts joins us, the head coach at Gibsonburg, and they have a highly talented team, 4-2 overall right now, 4-0 in SBC River Division play, and of course your first league title since 1976 last year. And but you want to build on that. You want to try to go back to back, but. Coming into the year, that sense of accomplishment from the girls that returned, how much of that was satisfying, but also, nothing's given to you, as you well know.
Well, absolutely. It was a very special year last year, and almost every time we had a scouting report or we talked, we always brought up 1976, and we had the 1976 team come visit us, and it was just a pretty special moment and just a special year. And then now this year we always kid around like, it's 2024. Like, that's our next goal is now 2025. The girls know this year we're not going to surprise anybody. Teams are prepared for us. Teams give us their best effort every night. We've already found that out a few games. But it's definitely – it gives us the confidence going in this year. And I tell some of these girls, especially the younger girls, like, why not put your name up there or then that year up there 4 years in a row while you're here. So our goal this year is to win the league again and then do well in the tournament, kind of like last year.
So how does the league stack up as your competition?
It's always a good league. Last year we had 3 teams in the regionals, and then Lakota and us had to fight each other to even one of us to make it to the regionals. So there's 4 or 5 really solid teams. This year, same thing. On any given night, you never know. There's little levels of what I'd say competitiveness for teams, but there's still 3 or 4 teams that on a given night, when we come out, if we're not ready to play, you're not going to win. So I think Calvert is definitely one of the better teams, and then Danbury is always up there. And even like when you play Lakota or Old Fort, Hopewell, and this year Woodmore too, they're doing a really nice job. So I got to tell the girls, you can't take a night off in this league. And that's one thing we've kind of prided ourselves the last 2 years. We've only lost, we lost 6 games in 1 year and we lost 3 last year. And every team that we lost to either had 20 wins at the end of the year or one of the other teams was a Division I Southview team that won 15. So we haven't had any really bad losses, and we try to prevent that. And if you do that, you're probably going to have a successful season.
Things changed a little bit because you had that great senior leadership last year with Jazz Morant and Sophia Paul. So filling in that, of course, Ellie Everts, your daughter, has done well. She has 24 points per game. That's right around where she was last year. But talk about some of the other players first, and then we'll get to
and one where we also had Hardy Gamble last year, who also is a big contributor too.
Don't want to forget
so all 3 of them, But this year we kind of early in the year I know some of the coaches we'd bring it up once in a while. This is not quite, but now we've kind of moved on from that and said this is what we have, and our girls are stepping up. We got some nice younger girls. Once again, we got 2 great seniors, Ansley Fleming and Elena Moultrie, who know what they're doing, and they've been great leaders and they've stepped up their game. Ansley just had a really good game against New Rigo the other day, and Elena always guards the best player on the other team and contributes in a lot of different ways. Might not be points, but everywhere else she does a great job. So it starts with them too, and then we just work our way down. We have a couple of juniors that are contributing, and Taylor Rapp and Emily Henderson have done a great job. And then our sophomore class is Ellie's, and that she's doing all right. Emma Jivenen's been starting for us, and she's been going through fighting a bug like a flu thing, and she's having a hard time in the last couple of games, and we just told her keep her head up and you're going to be fine. We have a freshman, Ava Dawson, who's been in our rotation, who it's unbelievable for a freshman to come in. Her first 6 varsity threes, she made 5 out of 6. I think she's leading the league in 3-point shooting percentage, and she's had like 10, 12 shots, so it's not like it's 1 for 2 or something like that, which has been a nice, pleasant surprise. We knew she's got some talent, so we're looking forward to it, and we got a really nice freshman class of girls too that are athletic, that we feel like, if you're athletic, we can turn you into basketball players, and it's harder to turn them into athletes. And we just have a nice group of girls all the way from top to bottom.
Bo Everts, the head coach of the Gibsonburg girls, joins us from Frickers for the Coaches Show tonight. And, we'll talk about Ellie and her season. Obviously close to what she did last year, 24 points per game. She has attempted a whopping 72 threes this year. She's made 20 of them. Where's the biggest development in her game from her freshman year to now?
Well, we found out this year, teams are double, triple teaming her, and so she's taking some pretty tough threes. So last year, I think people knew about her a little bit, but she was getting a lot of open looks. So her shooting percentage is definitely down. It's gotten better. Last game, she was 6 for 12, which was a nice We're thinking that's something kind of hopefully kind of pushing her as we go forward. Her defense, she played a nice little Under Armour AAU program over the summer and spring and really improved her defense and playing against really good competition. Her ball handling is still very solid. So overall, just the leadership and just being out there and these young girls, they've been a really good job. She can play with them and kind of lead them. Even though she's a sophomore, she's kind of one of the leaders out there with Ansley and Elena. We even have, I didn't even mention Leah Hall, who tore ACL this summer. She was a second-team All-League last year for us, would be a junior, is one of our best players on our team, but she's been recovering, and she's done a great job, and there's a chance we might get her back in January, which is a pleasant surprise, which if that helps, that'll be an amazing addition to our team as well. But overall, it's more of a team effort. This year we've had a nice job where in some games we've had 15, 20 assists, which that doesn't happen all the time. So we were more about getting the W if we can and go from there with the individual stats later.
To be able to shoot from outside, at least attempting those threes, Ava Dawson's gone 9 of 17 on threes. How does that stretch out a defense and allow for some long rebounds for your team?
Well, basically, we have 4 girls that can shoot threes, and if they're hot, any one of the 4 can get hot for us. It just brings the defense out and opens it up so much for our post players and just to cut and get to the basket when they have confidence. And the one game we lost to Port Clinton, we struggled really bad shooting. I mean, we made 3 threes the whole game. We took around 30. So that one game, if we're not going to shoot well, we're going to struggle. But overall, it does help. I mean, if we like to go, then we've been trying lately to try to get more, good-looking threes rather than forcing the threes, and that's helped. The last game against New Rigo, we did much better. We shot much better as a team. And then once that happens, then it just makes us tougher to defend.
Is that, as a coach, that even though they're not making the threes in that game, you still encourage them to shoot it? Or do they have to refine what they're doing if they're not doing that well?
Yeah, it comes to a point, like, we trust them. If it's a wide open, when your feet set, good pass, all that, I would say shoot it. But we've had a habit of rushing things, or we get a bad pass, we still shoot it, and we're not that capable yet. And then Ellie's had somewhere she gets hot once in a while, but there's times where she forces things, and it doesn't go in, and then we kind of struggle. Once they start falling, then it seems like it's pretty contagious. So last game, we had 4 girls that were hitting threes, and all of a sudden we're tough to beat. But we still like to get to the line, be aggressive. Our post players do a nice job rebounding and so forth. We're working on them trying to finish around the basket, and if that happens, we're going to be tough to beat.
Is that when young players have a tendency to rush? And we had talked about that just a few minutes ago with Blaine Bainey, who's the head coach over there at Clyde, but Blaze Bainey, I'm sorry. But to rush your shot, I mean, are there ways of being quicker but not rushing?
Yeah, well, that's the part. Like, if you take a shot when the ball comes to you and it's a good pass, and it's in the flow, and your feet are set, you can get it off. Usually, it's going to be a good shot. I tell the kids half the time, just by the pass alone, I can tell whether you're going to make the shot or not, or at least have a good shot or not. So we do that in practice a lot. But some of the girls, they rush, especially when you get sped up. Like, we played Norwalk and Port Clinton were some of our non-league games, and we purposely try to schedule tougher non-league games. In fact, we're playing Notre Dame Academy out of Toledo this Sunday in a holiday tournament, and they're solid, but we're also trying to prepare for the end of the season. We don't want to end in the regional semis this year, which we thought we had a chance last year to win. So we do that. But like Norwalk and like Port Clinton, they kind of pushed us a little faster, made us rush our shots a little more, and then obviously it's tough. I mean, at any level it's tough to do that, but especially the high school girls level. So, but if we ever feet set, I'm pretty confident in most of the girls.
Talking with Gibsonburg girls coach Bo Everts here from Frickers for the Coaches Show in Fremont on Eagle 99. I'm Tim Boulware. Of course, you can join us on our Facebook page as well to see our video feed, which Nick Roth's doing a great job at. And you talked about the regional semifinals last year and everything. Of course, winning league for the first time since 1976, unfamiliar territory. But how does that experience feed the girls that return back this year?
Yeah, we actually talked about it today at practice because they just had the pairings come out today, like what teams are in your district. So we know who the 8 teams are in our district, and just looking at that, we're like, you know what, let's make another run. So we talked about it, but I also said last year we went in there, we had never won a district title in the entire career or program of Gibsonburg girls basketball. So to get to regionals, I remember it was a long bus ride. If I had to do it over again, I'd have broke it up, and we'd have got off about halfway and got out and just shot around at some gym. We were all new to it. We get there, and it was a pretty big moment, and the first half we struggled and we didn't shoot well and we were down 10, 12, and then the rest of the game was fine, but we just were fighting back. And realistically, we feel like we were just as good as a team as they were that we played Columbus Grove, but they were ready and they beat us. But we didn't want that to happen again. And some of the older girls, like you said, the people that played last year, we got that out of our system. So we were hoping this year, even like we had 2 close district games, like to be in those situations, not be nervous, and just know that we're capable of getting there is just half the battle.
I find it interesting because the players, obviously, it's a new experience. But for you as a coach, it's interesting to find out what you admitted that you learned from that experience.
Yeah, well, just when we got there, and our girls were amped up and we were excited, and then we could tell from the very first couple possessions, it didn't go well. We turned the ball over. We missed an easy shot. I'm like, oh, this is a little different. And it just kind of built up. And like I said, there's things I would do differently. But the fact that we got there, that was almost like, for us, never winning a district title, to win that district title, that was pretty big and emotional. And so to come back and build those emotions back up, it was tough. But we know now what to expect. And I think if we get in that situation, hopefully this year we'll go out there and have a little better performance.
So all these different divisions now, from 4 to 7.
Yep.
Obviously, this affects everybody. Does it affect you particularly because of where you have been and now the different teams that you're going to be facing? It seems to be more congregated.
Yeah, it is. The biggest thing is there's probably have one less sectional game. Everybody pretty much starts in the sectional finals for us. There's 8 in our little district, so we'll have 8 teams in the sectionals, and then there'll be 2 district games. Team-wise, we're really small, Division 6. We end up being about 3 or 4 kids away from Division 7. So we're one of the smallest schools in Division 6. I think there's about 140 schools in it. But most of the teams are very similar. There's, I think, Woodmore, Lakota, Northwood. Cary's in it this time. It's the first time Cary's been in our little part of our district. But all of them are pretty much Division 4. Or there are some, I know Margaretta dropped down from Division. They were Division 3 last year. Now they're in our 6 with us. They're not in our same district, but so there's a little bit.
The boys team is loving that.
Yeah, well,
that boys team can win state.
Yeah,
because of that different. I mean, I've seen those 2 players that they have. They are very good. Yes.
Yeah, but definitely. There's most of the teams that are in our district, which you find, like I said today, we're familiar with. So, and we'll just go from there.
Final couple of questions for Bo Everett, the head coach at Gibsonburg Girls, here from Frickers for the Coaches Show. And my question of the night, which is just elicits a little more of a background for you, is what is the best holiday gift that you've either given or you've received?
It's funny because my wife, I don't know, it was like 2000, early 2000s. I'm a big Duke basketball fan. And my wife.
So am I.
So my wife surprised me with Cameron Duke tickets at Duke over President's Weekend.
Oh my goodness!
So I was shocked. Never imagined going there. So we went there. We drove through a snowstorm to get down there, and then it was the day that J.J. Redick broke the all-time Duke record.
Oh, yeah,
so we were at
that
game out, and we actually snuck in the Cameron Crazy section. Now, I was like 30, but we were jumping around. I had my camcorder videotaping it. And I actually ran into J.J. Redick a couple years ago at a baseball game and told him about it. He's like, oh, that's pretty cool. So, but, yeah, she's never topped – well, I haven't say it, but it's been tough to top that over the years. So,
guess who I ran into when I was down there? I was in the Hall of Fame, Duke Hall of Fame. Grayson Allen.
Oh, okay, yep.
He didn't try to trip you. I know he gets that a lot. Yeah,
I bet.
But, it was interesting. I just said, hi, Grayson, and he said hi. So it was very nice to have that. But, did you get close to Coach K?
We've got a couple of times they have like kids camps, and we've always happened to be around. We always stop by Cameron when we can. Yeah. The one time he was signing autographs for the kids, and I'm hanging out with Chris Collins and Johnny Dawkins, talking to them. Man. That's who I knew back in the day.
Yeah, we got to talk off there sometime about that. That's awesome. So his final year, we went to 2 Duke games. I wanted to see him play once with Coach K's. So I got 2. One was the Ohio State game, the other one Notre Dame game.
Okay.
And then I wrote him in December. I said, it would really mean a lot if I got an autograph picture. There you go.
Gotcha.
2 weeks later, I got an autograph picture.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and it's in my sports room now. So that is awesome. Final question for you. And, we go through all this and you see where you are 6 games in. When's a good time to gauge where this team is for this season?
Well, right now, for league purposes, we've done what we expected. We kind of hope to go in there and be undefeated going through Christmas break. When we come back, we have 3-game stretch. We have Woodmore for the first time. We have Danbury, and I think Danbury's undefeated in the league at the time. Mm-hmm. And then we have Calvert again, who Calvert's one of the better teams. And we play them at Calvert, which that gym's always a tough one to play. So though we have 3 in a row, that after those 3, we can talk again, and we'll have a good idea where we're at. So
interesting. And the personality of the team, how different is it from last year?
It's. I mean, we have a great group of girls. That's one thing. Like, I know sometimes you have years where you might struggle, but you still enjoy it, or you might have a great talent and struggle. But we have talent and we have just great kids, and that's from top to bottom. And then the parents. I mean, it doesn't get much better. It's when you enjoy going there. Like, because I'm a teacher too, I enjoy teaching. But like when you come to practice and just like right now, they're all having a taco dinner, having a team feed together, hanging out. So it is a wonderful group. We have nice, like I said, senior leaders. We also have young freshmen that are stepping up. So it's one big program, and we got some nice young girls coming up in young early ages too. So it's going to be fun for a while.
All right, Coach Bo Everett's joining us. Gibsonburg girls, congratulations on what you've done so far this season. I know it's still a long way to go, but 4-2, 4-0 in the SBC River, and we look forward to great things for you the rest of the year.
Yeah, I appreciate you having us.
All right,
Thanks.
No problem. All right, so that's Coach Everett here from Frickers for the Coaches Show, and a reminder that you have wing night here, and flop on over your wings to get some wings here from Frickers, and they have wing night on Monday and Tuesday, and then, of course, they have chicken chunks one night. Steak night is on Wednesday. That's at $7.99. So great deals here at Frickers, and, of course, your headquarters for Ohio State football coming up on Saturday against Tennessee for that primetime game. More to come after this. We're going to talk Lakota boys basketball with Adam Nipper as we continue to roll along. I'm Tim Boulware for the Coaches Show here on Eagle 99. Yeah, we're back here from Frickers for the Coaches Show, located between Highways 20 and the Turnpike in Fremont. Good crowd on hand for Monday Night Football and wings tonight. So we always love wings here at Frickers, and they make them just right here as well. And they have great desserts as well. Ask your server for more details about kids eating free, and also the weekend. Don't forget, Ohio State plays Tennessee, and that'll be Saturday night. And Notre Dame game's on Friday. against Indiana. That should be a good one, an in-state rivalry. But anyway, we're joined by Adam Nepper, who is the head coach at Lakota Boys. They're off to a solid start, 2-0 in the SBC River right now. Their only loss came at the hands of Clyde. We'll talk a little bit about that game as well. It's only a 3-point loss. And Coach, your fourth year, and thanks for joining us on the program tonight.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and so it's a great night. So I'm going to lead off with our question of the night. So what is the best gift that you've ever received for the holidays or given?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think probably the best gift I've ever been a part of giving was to my kids. We my wife and I gave them a Disney vacation for a Christmas present, and then we left the day after Christmas and went to Disney World. So I think that was probably the best we've ever given. So.
Yeah, it depends on the time of year when you really. It's ironic on the TV they actually had the Disney.
Oh, really?
The commercial going on right now.
And
the timing was perfect.
And I really enjoyed Disney World too, so it was a good present for me too. So
it was hard for me because I don't like roller coasters.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out something else to do. But there's a lot of other things to do down there. So anyway, let's talk about your team right now, and off to a solid start and 2-0 in the SBC River. And what have you seen from your team so far?
Well, we've seen a lot of good things, and we are off to a good start, and that was important. We're obviously not a finished product yet. We're still pretty young, and we're still growing and getting better. So, but a fantastic start. I couldn't be happier, and the kids are playing hard, doing things we ask, getting better every single day. So, it's really been a fun start.
And you graduated from the school. I think every coach tonight, we might have had every coach tonight actually graduated from the school. And is there some kind of advantage for somebody because you know the culture of the program from where you were as a player to where you are now, trying to establish that culture?
Yeah, I think it is a little bit of understanding the school dynamics and then also understanding and knowing the history of the program and where it's been and where it can go, and then also we have all of my entire coaching staff was all Lakota graduates. Well, except for my dad, of course. My dad is also an assistant coach. He wasn't a Lakota graduate, but he coached at Lakota for 16 years.
He had a tie-in with the program with you.
Yeah, so I think it's really important, and I think having all of these Lakota graduates and myself included, I think we just care a little bit more. I think it means just a little bit more when you're doing it at your alma mater, and it's really special to experience that with the kids that are going through it today. So.
Okay, well, let's talk about your players. And I know you have 3 players averaging right now with 14 points per game. You have Avery Schilling, Nick Elkert,
Yes,
and then Blaze Beard.
yes.
So how difficult does that make that for defenses when they don't know who to key on?
It's our balance has been really important, and I'll go a step further. Those 3 are averaging 14, but I think we have a primary rotation of 6 guys right now. Sometimes we'll play a 7th, but of our 6 guys who are in the regular rotation, I think any of the 6 can go out and get 20 points any night, which is that sort of balance on the floor is really important and difficult to guard for other teams. And also, we're big. So Blaze Beard is 6'6", and Nick Elger's 6'5", and we got Max Nordhaus, who's a sophomore as well. He's 6'5". So, our size matchup and our balance is, I think, causing a little bit of problems for other teams.
It's hard to say that because here in this area, obviously, if you're in the city, you see some of the city schools. Yeah. They have a lot more height. They have a lot more kids available for them and everything. Right. What is it for you when you have that kind of size when you're facing teams that don't necessarily – I mean, they're lucky to have one guy like that, let alone you have 3.
Yeah, well, actually 4. Avery Schilling 6'4", too.
Yeah,
so,
another one.
We are big, and we're bigger than most of the teams that we play. So we're sort of have – tried to gear an offensive game plan around our size, and we're almost playing a more, you would say old school type of basketball where we're trying to throw it in the post and we're trying to, get people in foul trouble, and instead of the today's basketball where it's all spread out and 5 out and dribble drive and ball screen offenses. We're trying to do a little bit different, take advantage of our size, and and we're getting there. We're not there yet. We at times look really good getting in the post, and those young men they're hard to guard in there. They're talented and athletic, and we're using it to our advantage.
Adam Knepper joining us from Lakota Boys as he is our guest here from Frickers for the Coaches Show on this Monday night. It's wing night here, but you know it is interesting because a lot of people will say that now true post players, the game has changed with post players. You used to see duck under moves and low post moves and spin moves and everything. Now it's a combination of that and outside shooting. So, I mean, how does the evolution of the inside game come about here, even over the last 5 years?
Yeah, I think that's a good thing because, you know, in the past, you know, 70s, 80s, even some in the 90s, post players were post players, right?
Yeah.
They didn't step out very much, and we have actually two. Blaze Beard is 6'6", and he plays. We throw him the ball in the post, but he can step out.
Yeah,
you know, we throw it to him at 15 feet. He can beat anybody off the dribble, and then he jumps so well around the rim that he's tough to contest. And then Max Nordhaus is our other big guy, and he's not as good off the dribble, but he has a really good jump shot from out to 15, 16 feet. So, and it's made them harder to guard. To be honest with you, they have more versatility. They can take big if we do find somebody bigger, they can take them outside and play off the dribble. So. I think it's important to have them be versatile, not just true post-up players. So.
Yeah, on defense, how important does it become to take guys who are typically used to playing in one position out of their comfort zone?
It's a tricky question. You want to keep them.
But then you don't want to go against your strength.
Right. Well, what we try to do is at both ends, but at defensive end too, is cater to what our strengths are. And obviously we're bigger, so it presents a little bit of a problem when we play a team like Clyde, who, you know, played 4 or 5 guards the entire game. So it was a little bit of matchup problems for us at the defensive end, but we've sort of come up with a little different style defense that I think it's really helping us, and it's catered toward our personnel. So it's more of a matchup zone type defense. So it's we're designed to help our big guys play on the perimeter.
The one confusing term I have as a broadcaster is when somebody says it's a zone with man principles. I still don't get that. It's either a man or a zone.
Yeah. This is new to me. This is the first time we ever have done something like this. And actually, we brought in I don't know if you know who Brian Vorst is, who was a former coach at Rossford, boys coach at Rossford. We brought him in, and he taught us this defense that he's had a lot of success with. And it's been good for us. You know, we use it as a change-up. We don't play it 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But especially when we have sort of matchup problems, we'll go to it and use it. And it's been effective so far.
Done with Adam Knepper, who is the head coach of the Lakota Boys. They are off to a 2-0 start in the SBC River right now. And your one loss came against Clyde, but I have to go over this game. I'm reading the news accounts online. You were down by 11 with 26 seconds to go. You were down by 8 with 12 seconds to go.
Yeah.
And yet you came within a three-pointer, the one missed at the end, to tie the game.
We did.
How does somebody do
we
that?
Did.
Because the math was against you.
It was a little bit crazy, to be honest with you. And actually we used our last timeout. I think I called my last time. We hit a three, I think, with, if I remember right, 10 seconds to go. We hit a three, got it within 5.
Yeah.
And I called our last timeout, and I told the kids, you know, if they got the ball in bounds, the game's over.
Yeah.
So, and I told them if they get it in bounds, we're not fouling.
Sure.
We're not gonna have enough time.
Yeah.
And the kids, unbelievably, they're like, no, we're not quitting. We're playing to the end, which is awesome to hear as a coach. It's awesome to hear. So I said, well, you guys steal the inbounds pass. So they stole the inbounds pass. We scored a layup. We forced another turnover right after that. And next thing you know, we got sideline out of bounds with, I think we had 3 seconds to go or something.
Yeah.
And I had no timeouts left. We couldn't draw anything special up.
Sure.
Tried to just get them into an offensive set that we use in the half court. Clyde did a good job, took the primary option away. Avery Schilling made a great cut to the corner to get the ball and get a shot off. Had a good look at it too. He was open. Not an easy shot though. He was catching it on the move and turning around. But yeah, I mean they fought back like crazy, and that's all you can ask for. This group of kids is we don't have any seniors. We have no seniors in the program, but this group of kids really is competing the way we probably haven't seen here in a few years. So I couldn't ask for anything more than the toughness that they fought back with in that game. So,
a couple of things that struck me when looking at your stat sheet. So you're plus 10 in rebounds. You have 16 assists per game.
yes.
So let's talk about that first, and just about the unselfishness, the ability
Yes.
to involve everybody in the game, and how that means for you, what
Yeah.
that means for you off the glass as
Yeah.
well.
No, obviously our size is helping on the glass, but that's not the only thing. It's got to be a want to. You have to want to do it every single possession, and they are. And for the most part, we are rebounding, and we're offensive rebounding too. You talked about the assists, which is so important for us because we are so balanced offensively. When we share the basketball, we're pretty good on offense. Now, two big keys to that is Avery Schilling is now a junior, and he has really, really, I'll say, matured from his sophomore year to his junior year, and is really when he's more so become pass first, and when he's pass first, we're really good because he's really good at getting in the lane. And then the other key to that is Nick Elkert, who's a sophomore. He missed his freshman year with a torn ACL, but he's two big guards that really do a nice job sharing the basketball and make the right play when people are open.
Well, I talked about the positive. I'm going to mention one negative. I'm seeing less than 50% for the free throw line.
Yes.
So what must you do to improve on that
Oh,
besides
my
shooting
goodness.
more during
I'm-
practice, after practice?
I don't know that we can shoot more in practice. We just don't have that kind of time. We do shoot a lot. I think it just comes down to a focus thing. It just we need to get to the line and focus because we have good shooters and they're good free throw shooters. But I think it's we haven't really pinpointed why we're shooting so poorly from the line yet.
What
So-
does it become a different atmosphere? I mean, these guys can shoot threes and chuck it all over the place,
Yep.
and they can make those great post moves. But when it comes to that free throw line and it's
Yes.
just you in the basket,
Yes.
why does that become so difficult?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I wish I could answer that.
If you do, you be doing very well for yourself.
Exactly. And then maybe our free throw percentage would go up. Yeah, that's a thing we have got to do better, especially when we start playing really good teams. We're going to have to make free throws, and tight. You're playing in tight games, you have to make free throws. So it is something we're going to have to improve on. It hasn't really hurt us too badly to this point, but we're going to have to get better at it. That's for sure.
Adam Nebber joining us from Lakota Boys as they have a game Thursday over at Gibsonburg. So let's preview that game. What do you know about that matchup?
Well, Gibsonburg has good guards, experienced guards. Reese Walby, sophomore, he was first team All-League last year as a freshman. Just a solid player, good ball handler and shoots deep threes. So we're going to have to know where he's at all times. They have some other good guards, Mooney and Aiden Morant.
Yeah.
These
guys are all football guys.
They are, and they pressure the basketball. So we're going to be ready. We have to be ready for press. They'll do a couple different things with the press. So, it's going to be a challenge. It's a big game, rivalry game. They started off a little bit slower in the league than they probably wanted to, and we started off maybe a little bit better than people thought we would. So, it's going to be a good game. It always is a good game when we play against Gibsonburg, and they always get big crowds and big student sections, so it's going to be a challenge for sure.
And a stretch of 5 in a row on the road. You're not going to come back to your home until January 10th.
Yeah, it was sort of a part of it was a scheduling problem. We had to move. We play Hopewell on Saturday. We had to move that game to Hopewell because we have a home wrestling meet all day at Lakota. So we had to move that game. So that was part of the reason why it's 5 5 in a row on the road. You know, it's just another challenge you got to figure out how to deal with, and we will. It won't be too terrible.
Chance for you to work on your free throws in an unfriendly environment.
Yeah, yes. Well, hopefully over Christmas break we can hit a couple extra practices and get some extra free throws.
That'll be your
too.
player's gift to you.
Yes, yes. I would take that.
Adam Knepper joining us from the Lakota Boys. Thanks very much for stopping by. We do appreciate it, and we look forward to your progress the rest of the year.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right, no problem. And that's going to wrap up our coaches show tonight here from Frickers. Of course, you can join us on Facebook as well. We're not going to be back here until January 6th, and Kyle Knight will have the next program for us here from Frickers. But we always appreciate their hospitality. And a reminder, come on out. They have some great food here, great desserts. Servers are very friendly, and it's a great atmosphere right here at Frickers for the coaches show, which of course we'll be back in. And speaking of being back, we'll be back on the air tomorrow night here on Eagle 99. Napoleon at Ross Boys, 7 o'clock for the pregame, 7:15 tip-off. And then on Eagle 99, Old Fort at Woodmore Boys. That will be on Thursday. The Wolf 92-1 will have Norwalk at Clyde Boys. That will be on Friday night as we get ready to jet into the holiday break right after this week. For all of us here at the BAS Sports Network and Eagle 99, for Nick Roth, who's running our camera, for John Kearns back at the studios, I'm Tim Boulware. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you again at the gymnasium, and of course tomorrow night for Ross against Napoleon here on Eagle 99. Till then, have